Welcome to the Coronavirus Weekly Brief. We're your hosts. I'm David Sterman.
And I'm Emily Schneider. Here are the headlines you need to know.
As coronavirus cases and hospitalizations continue to mount across the U.S., White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, warned that the pandemic would likely go down as one of the most difficult events in U.S. history. This is not just the worst public health event, this is the worst event this country will face, said Dr. Birx, speaking on Sunday to NBC's Meet the Press. Dr. Birx also expressed disappointment with public officials who have downplayed the seriousness of the virus and resisted mitigation efforts. She urged increased public health measures nationwide, saying that, quote, every state across the country needs to increase their mitigation, and every state needs to be critically informing their state population that the gatherings we saw on Thanksgiving will lead to a surge. Cases and hospitalizations continue to rise across the United States. Saturday marked the fourth day in a row of more than 200,000 reported cases, and more than 100,000 people are currently hospitalized with COVID-19.
Dr. Monsif Slaoui, Chief Science Advisor to Operation Warp Speed, said on Sunday that a COVID-19 vaccine could be available to some Americans as soon as this month. Trump administration officials outlined an ambitious vaccine rollout plan, with nursing home residents receiving vaccines first, followed by other high-risk individuals, and then the general population. The plan, which assumes emergency approval of a vaccine this week or shortly after, aims to vaccinate individuals in nursing homes starting at the end of December or the beginning of January. Other high-risk individuals, including healthcare and other essential workers, would be vaccinated by mid-March, and the rest of the adult population by May or June. Dr. Slaoui and his team expect to meet with President-elect Biden this week to brief him on the plan. Shipments of the coronavirus vaccine developed by Pfizer and BioNTech were delivered in their super cold containers to the UK on Sunday, as the government prepares to start its vaccination program on Tuesday. Around 800,000 doses are expected to be in place at around 50 hospital hubs in England to kick off the immunization program. Last week, the UK became the first country to approve the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for emergency use.
Pfizer has sought emergency approval from the Indian Regulatory Agency for their COVID-19 vaccine, an Indian official said during a televised interview on Sunday. It is the first company to seek vaccine approval in India, which currently has the third highest rate of new daily coronavirus infections.
Rudy Giuliani, personal attorney to President Donald Trump, tested positive for the coronavirus, the president tweeted on Sunday. The 76-year-old former mayor of New York City traveled throughout the country last week in a last-minute effort to persuade state legislators to somehow overturn President-elect Joseph Biden's victory. In the past, Giuliani has declined to self-quarantine following possible exposures, such as when his son tested positive last month. He has frequently joined the president in expressing skepticism of the virus's severity. The former mayor, who has not yet announced his diagnosis himself, did not reply to requests for comment from the Washington Post. The Arizona Capital Times reported that the Arizona State Legislature will close for the whole week, quote, after at least 15 current or future Republican legislators may have been directly exposed to COVID-19 by meeting with Rudy Giuliani, end quote. Giuliani and fellow Trump attorney Jenna Ellis held an unofficial hearing at the Hyatt Regency Phoenix on Monday, November 30th, less than a week before testing positive. Giuliani and Ellis talked, unmasked, for about 11 hours in the hotel ballroom, with several state lawmakers present. The next day, Giuliani visited the state capitol and met with several lawmakers there. Following his visit to Arizona, Giuliani stopped in Michigan and Georgia, where he most likely exposed other legislators as well. But according to the Trump campaign, no legislators or members of the press were on Giuliani's contact tracing list because he had tested negative and did not experience any symptoms until at least 48 hours after meeting with them.
To see our daily brief, go to the address in our show notes and follow us on Twitter @NewAmericaISP.
The Coronavirus Weekly Brief was produced by Shannon Lynch and Jason Stewart and was edited by Shannon Lynch. This podcast is brought to you by New America and Arizona State University. The Coronavirus Weekly Brief will continue in 2021.